Victor and Simone both worked at the same logistics company in Chicago. Both started at $58,000 in the same year. Both received the same raises at the same times, a performance increase at 2 years, a promotion at year 4, a market adjustment at year 6. By year 8, both were earning $79,200, but Victor's net worth at year 8 was $134,000. Simone's net worth at year 8 was $19,000. The gap was not explained by spending recklessly or earning differently. It was explained by what each of them did in the 72 hours after every single raise hit their paycheck. Victor did 3 specific things, every time, without exception. Simone did none of them, most of the time, without realizing the pattern she had fallen into. 8 years, 5 raises each, a $115,000 gap that traces back to habits most people have never been told exist. My name is Carrie, and what I am going to show you today are the 3 things wealthy people do with every raise. That broke people almost never do. Not because broke people are undisciplined, but because nobody ever explained that a raise is not just a number on a paycheck. It is a decision point. And the decision you make in the days immediately following a raise determines whether that money compounds for you for the next 30 years or simply disappears into a slightly elevated version of your previous lifestyle. Thing 1, they calculate the after-tax value before making any spending decision. This sounds almost too simple to matter, but it is the foundational habit that everything else depends on. And Victor received his $7,200 raise at year 2. The first thing he did, before telling anyone, before celebrating, before making a single purchasing decision, was calculate what that raise actually meant in after-tax monthly terms. A $7,200 annual raise after federal tax, state tax, and payroll tax came out to approx $430 per month in actual additional take-home pay. Not $600, not $700, $430. Most people never make this calculation. They see the gross number, $7,200, and they mentally budget against that figure, not against the smaller after-tax number that actually lands in their account. This single miscalculation is responsible for an enormous amount of the lifestyle creep that erodes raises before. Simone received a $6,800 raise at year 2. She never calculated the after-tax monthly value. She estimated informally that it was around $500 a month. The assumption feels reasonable. A number she pulled from a rough mental axprox rather than an actual calculation. The real after-tax monthly value was $387. She budgeted against a number that was 29% higher than reality. That gap between perceived and actual raise value is where almost all lifestyle creep originates, not from irresponsibility, but from budgeting against the wrong number from the very first decision. Thing 2, they automate the investment increase within 24 to 48 hours of the raise taking effect. This is the habit that matters most and the one with the largest compounding impact. Victor's rule, applied to every raise without exception, was to increase his automatic investment contribution by 50% of the after-tax value of the raise within 2 days of it appearing on his pay stub, before his bank balance reflected the new normal, before his spending patterns had any opportunity to adjust to the increase. His $430 after-tax raise at year 2 produced a $215 per month increase in his automated investment contribution, set up within 48 hours through his employer's payroll system. He never felt the $215 leave his check because it left before it ever functioned as available spending money in his mental accounting. Simone took a different approach with every raise, not through any conscious decision to avoid investing, but through delay. She told herself she would look at adjusting her 401k contribution soon. Across 5 raises over 8 years, soon turned into an average delay of 14 months per raise before any contribution adjustment happened. And in 2 of the 5 raises, the adjustment never happened at all. If this is landing for you so far, take 2 seconds to hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel and it tells me to keep making content like this. The compounding cost of this delay is the single largest driver of the $115,000 gap between Victor and Simone. Victor's automated increases, compounding from the moment each raise hit, produced approx $87,000 of the total gap by year 8, not from picking better investments, from the speed and automaticity of the decision to invest the raise before it could be absorbed into lifestyle. Thing 3, they recalculate their retirement timeline immediately after every raise. This is the habit that creates the psychological reinforcement loop that makes the first 2 habits sustainable over a multi-decade career. Every time Victor received a raise and adjusted his automated investment contribution, he spent 10 min recalculating his PIT progress, his personal retirement income target, and his projected retirement date based on the new contribution level. After his raise, his projected retirement age moved from 64 to 62.5. He saw the number move. He felt the tangible consequence of the decision he had just made, which reinforced the habit for the next raise. After his year 4 promotion, his projected retirement age moved from 62.5 to 60. After his year 6 market adjustment, it moved to 58.5. Each recalculation took 10 minutes and produced a visible, motivating piece of feedback that made the next raise's habit easier to execute. Simone never calculated a retirement target in the first place, so she had no comparable number to track, and no feedback loop reinforcing the discipline of automating her raises. Her raises arrived, her lifestyle absorbed them at varying rates, and there was no moment of visible progress to make the alternative path feel rewarding. The absence of a target did not just remove a planning tool. It removed the entire psychological mechanism that made Victor's habit self-reinforcing year after year. Here is what I want you to do the next time you receive a raise, a bonus, or any income increase. First, before you do anything else, calculate the actual after-tax monthly value of the increase. Use your last pay stub to estimate your effective tax rate, apply it to the raise amount, and divide by 12. Write that number down. This is the only number that matters for the decisions that follow. Second, within 48 hours, increase your automated investment contribution by at least 50% of that after-tax monthly value. Do this through payroll deduction or automatic transfer, not as a manual decision you make each month, but as a structural change that happens before the money is available to spend. Third, spend 10 minutes recalculating your PRIT progress and your projected retirement update using the new contribution amount. Write down the new projected age. Let yourself feel the concrete, motivating shift that number represents. Fourth, allow the remaining 50% of the after-tax raise to go toward lifestyle improvements without guilt. This system is not about deprivation. It is about ensuring that half of every increase compounds for your future, while the other half improves your present. Fifth, set a calendar reminder for your next expected raise, a review cycle, an annual increase, a planned promotion, so that when it arrives, the same 3-step process happens within 48 hours rather than drifting into the 14-month average delay that erodes most people's raises before they ever build anything. Victor and Simone earned the exact same amount of money over 8 years, same starting salary, same 5 raises, same total career income. The $115,000 gap between them was built entirely from what happened in the 72 hours following each raise. Whether the after-tax value was calculated correctly, whether the investment increase happened within 48 hours or drifted for over a year, and whether a visible retirement target exists to reinforce the habit. None of these 3 things required Victor to earn more than Simone. None of them required sacrifice beyond what Simone was already capable of. They required a structure that nobody had ever explained to her, applied consistently across the 5 separate moments that most people treat as cause for celebration, rather than cause for immediate financial action. Your next raise is coming. The 72 hours after it arrives will determine more about your financial trajectory than almost any other decision you will make this year. I'm Carrie. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next.